Good evening. Welcome to
It,
the 12-Man podcast, live, uninterrupted. Um, on Facebook, The Reds, and everywhere else you'll listen to your lovely bit of podcasts. For me, Steve Jackson, I'm in the main chair as usual. Mr. John Cutler's sat there in the studio. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, mate.
Why can't I hear you?
Should be a loop.
can you hear me, Jacko? Obviously not.
I can hear
There
you,
we
John.
go. I can hear you now. Are we all doing all right?
Yeah, all good, yeah. All good. At least it was the problem at your end and not this end, eh?
I blame the microphone. But yes, it's my fault. It's all good. Don't worry. But yes, we are live. We are uninterrupted now. There's no problems now. On the Red, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all the good places you get your podcast. So you got me, Steve Jackson. I'm in the main chair as usual. Mr. John Cutler's there with me. How are we doing?
Yeah, all good, yeah. You lads all right, yeah?
Yeah, we're good, mate. We're good.
Yes, but
And fresh from his break on his shift, we've got Mr. John Donovan. Evening, John Don.
no, then are you all right?
Yeah, we're doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Have you recovered from your busy Saturday night?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. That was fun. It was a fun day, wasn't it? We'll go into that. It was a fun day. 90 minutes spoil it, but we'll go away from that. But yeah, so we've got plenty to talk about tonight. We've got the success of watching LS1 falling apart again in front of our very eyes at Elland Road. Who's you getting the cup draw? Well, if you haven't seen it, well, where have you been for the last 4 days? If not, we'll tell you in the next 5 or 10 minutes. We'll talk about Derby on Saturday. How one chance basically wins you a game. I still can't believe we lost that game. And then we'll preview Portsmouth. So we've got a Pompey fan coming on as well in the next 40 minutes or so. So stay about for that one as well. So before I start, are we all right, boys?
Yeah, we're well. Work's busy, but you have to work to follow the butter. It's expensive sport, isn't it?
It's an expensive hobby. It's a very expensive hobby, but it's the best hobby in the world, and I absolutely love it. So we'll start with you then, John Dunn. Obviously, you made the trip to Elland Road to watch the
Yep.
to watch what was absolutely magnificent. And if I was going to say I weren't jealous, I'd be absolutely lying because I was. But made 7 changes, but did it really look to me? It didn't look like we made any. Simply because we just looked so comfortable. Everybody knew exactly what they were doing, and we were just brilliant. And tell me about Wednesday night. How good was it?
Well, it was superb. Like you say, 7 changes, but everyone who came in took the opportunity, and we performed as a team fantastically well. Individual performances were great, but collectively, we were excellent, solid, creative, energetic, aggressive, everything really. I mean, we had to withstand 20 or 25 minutes of Leeds pressure. Sol Bryn got off to a good start with a great save with his feet, and every other time that the ball fell to a Leeds player in our box, we were straight on it. We blocked it. So Sol Bryn didn't have anything major to do after that initial save with his feet. And as the first half wore on, we caught them on the counter a couple of times, and we had good chances ourselves. And just by speaking to other fans at half time, in and around where I was stood, the confidence was growing. There was a strong opinion, that we could get something out of this game, and how right they were. Second half, we were just so impressive, absolutely fantastic. And I'll be honest, I thought 3-0 flattered Leeds somewhat. There was chances there we could have scored more. Isaiah Jones has a one-on-one with the keeper that he knocked a little bit too far, so He was too close to the keeper. He knocked it past him, but he knocked it wide. Delano Bergzorg had a great chance, and that he could have scored his second goal from, but it wasn't to be. But like I say, one of the most impressive away performances for a long, long time, and the away fans were absolutely superb. Yes, of course, taking the lead and going on to win the game, obviously, it's going to mean that the support is good. But even at 0-0 at half time, up to half time, we were brilliant. The whole of the 90 minutes, we just urged our team forward, and it was a great night out, great night for the fans, great night for the club, and I hope everybody who watched it on TV got that impression, that this is a very, very good, very strong Middlesbrough team.
It did. I mean, that's exactly why I made the point straight away to you. Even though we made the 7 changes, it just didn't look like we made any. Everybody just slotted in so perfectly. The quality was still as high as it should be. There was no passengers. Everybody stepped up to exactly what they should have been, and it was just a fantastic performance. I mean, first comments just coming from Ryan Elliott saying, unreal game. Boys were on fire. Fans were insane. It was his first ever away game. Still can't believe it was his first ever. So what a cracking way. What a cracking way to
great
make
one to choose.
That's class, that. That's fair play, that. But one thing that I thought was, I mean, we caught Leeds cold in that second half. Then 15 minutes, they didn't know what to do. And it showed it. I don't know how you felt in the stands. Making 5 subs at the same time, I've never ever seen, apart from pre-season, when obviously managers make 6 or 7 and change the squad about. I've never seen a manager in a competitive game make 5 subs at the same time. Have you?
No, I haven't. No, really, really odd. And it was 2-0 at the time, and if they'd have got back into it with a goal, it could have been a totally different game from that point. I mean, we would have been under severe pressure. But as it was, we were the next team to score, and their impetus was lost then when we took the lead 3-0. Their impetus in that second half, just because of the substitutions, just died. And yeah, comfortable win. You don't often say that against Leeds, because they fight to the death normally. But it was a comfortable win. And like I say, for that guy whose first away match it was, that's something he will never ever forget.
Don't get used to that. It's not like that every week. Don't get used to it.
Imagine if he went on Saturday. That would have been
which we'll move on to.
I was going to say, imagine if that was his first 2 of the season. Bang, bump. No, it was perfect. It was perfect, and it was perfectly epitomised right at the end when Bamford tried to hit the fans at the top of the stand with a shot that was so wayward. It nearly ended up in the TS postcode. It was so bad. It just showed how bad they were. It was just brilliant. What a night for the fans. What a night for the club. It was I mean, this is going to be a difficult one because I had a couple. I mean, I'll ask Cutsies as well. Not that I don't value your input on this game. I just got a bit to talk about. I'm sorry. But firstly, John, who was your man of the match for Wednesday?
Like you say, there was loads of great performances to choose from, but for me, it was Morris, to be honest, and closely run by Gilbert. I thought Gilbert was excellent, but on the night, I didn't appreciate how much Morris had done to break up their attacks and win the ball, and then start our attacking movements. And I saw highlights of the game, and in particular highlights of Morris's involvement, and he was just unbelievable, absolutely fantastic. Great performance by him.
Yeah, it was superb. Cuts, I'll give you 30 seconds. How did you feel about that Leeds game? I imagine you were as delighted as anybody else, and give you man of the match when you're done.
It was absolutely outstanding. I can sum it up where the other half went to the bingo, and I had the window open because it was nice and warm, wasn't it? Second goal went in, I'm screaming. She came running in the door, what's the matter? What's the matter? So, yeah. So there was something wrong, but absolutely fantastic performance. We played one of the best teams in the league off the park. They had a weakened team, but it still cost a lot of money, that squad. For me, Matt Clark was a colossus. Absolutely outstanding. I don't know how many times I'm going to see his man the match because without a spoiler alert, he's getting another one in a minute, which will be 3 in a row. Outstanding.
Yeah, we were brilliant. The whole team was brilliant. If I was pushed to give him a man of the match, I'd probably look at Bergsorg. I thought Bergsorg was absolutely outstanding. I thought he absolutely ran Ampadu, and it was the other one, Ragged. I can't remember who this other centre half was.
Rodon.
Rodon, that's it. Rodon and Ampadu, he just ran them ragged. I mean, but to say they came from Tottenham and Chelsea, you know, he just ran them all over the shop. I mean, I'll give a big mention to Dan Barlaser as well. For alongside Morris, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was really good. Don't look at me like that. I can see you this week. I thought he was really good. He wasn't the best player on the pitch, but he did his job, and that's exactly what I wanted him to do. And he was just, brilliant. And then game finishes. You're on your way home, John Don. You see it coming through. Big reward. You know, everybody's like, I wonder who we'll get. Oh, we've got a nice home tie. Who have we got? Who did we get?
Stoke City.
Stoke City at home.
And wow. I was about to say, enthusiastic of the draws. I was just saying that that I've come there. It was a bit of a not the tie that I was looking for. I like to go to new grounds, and I was hoping we could get Boro away or Fleetwood.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't to be, and we got Stoke at home on a warm Tuesday night.
I know, and then to make it worse, a strange kick-off time, 7:15, which is really irks me. I don't get why, but I'll pass this to you. Why 7:15?
Well, yeah, I looked at all the other ties over the 2 days, and they're all like normal kickoff times, either 7:30, 8:45, or 8:00 in a couple of cases. So I didn't know. I had no idea. So I asked Craig Johns of the Gazette, and he didn't know. But he said, "I'll try and find out." Anyway, he got back in touch with me, and he said it's the club agreed with Stoke the early kickoff because they're trying to maximise a number of sort of younger fans there, you know, and they think that a 7:15 kickoff might entice some parents, you know, to take them to the game so they're not home as late as a 7:45 or 8:00 kickoff. And the ticket prices have reflected that as well. So that's the outcome that Craig Johns got when he asked the question. So that's the reason.
There you go. And then I'll pass it straight over to John Cutler, who just spent his entire time there shaking his head.
What, is half an hour going to put 10,000 on the gate? Like, let's move it to 6:00. We'll finish work and pop straight to the ground. Absolute nonsense.
Who says we don't give diplomatic views, eh? Wow. There you go. Just tell your boss you're finishing early because the 12-man podcast told you to. So there you go. But there you go. That's the response we got. You know, ask the question, we'll get the answer. So, it's a strange kick-off time. It's a bit of a daft one. But it is what it is, and that's who we got in the next round. So if you didn't know we were getting Stoke, we got Stoke.
Tuesday the 27th, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep, Tuesday the 27th, 7:15 kick-off. Tickets are out for us lot tomorrow. 15 quid a pop. It's not too bad. I'll buy a ticket. Whether I can get there, I don't know. 7:15's kind of ruined that. Blame the A1. But never mind.
We'll get in touch with the club, see if we can get you there instead of another 100 kids.
Wow. I'll just get Gibbo, get his helicopter in, be all right. But he'll be fine. So there you go. That's the positive part. First bit done. Let's go on to Saturday. So I'll start with you, Kutz. I usually ask John on this, but he's had his 10 minutes. I'll let him have a 2-minute break. The team came out for Saturday. No McGree at all. Solbrin on the bench. It looks like Tom Glover could be on his way out now. Talks of Celtic coming in, having a look at him now. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on the kid, but if you want to lift, I'll happily put the money in for it. But it shows now Solbrin is number 2. But Riley McGree, not at all, was a bit of a weird one. What did you think?
Yeah, it came out a bit later. I think that he have a thigh strain or a groin strain, something. So it's early in the season. He's an important player for us.
Aye.
It was obviously if he'd have been fit, he'd have been in the starting 11. But other than that, I was happy enough with the starting 11. To be fair.
And the kick-off time was that all right for you as well, or?
Half 12 on a Saturday shouldn't exist.
It was a shocker.
At least it's only the 2 and a bit hours away rather than the normal 4 hours away that the rip was off with. But
it was nice early start on Saturday morning when I saw John Don's face. Just after half past 8, we came and picked them up from the Bluebell. But cracking day out, John Don. Obviously, we saw the team as the bus was getting its way through all the traffic, getting towards the ground. The police did a cracking job getting us in. Idiots. What did you make of the starting 11?
I was quite pleased. Like I say, it was a puzzle that McGree was missing, but I was quite pleased. It looked like a strong team, and I was overconfident. Obviously, I think we all were, weren't we? That we were going to do a job on Derby, but it didn't happen.
There you go. So we played Derby County and Derby. So there you go. But one name that did pop up on the bench, cuts, Tommy Conway made his bow from the bench. Obviously, we'll talk about the game in a little bit, but obviously, signed on Friday. That's the second last bit of the jigsaw, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Carrick sort of said last week, you never know what comes up in the last week, so they're not definitely stuck on maybe the 2 and now it's 1. We'll see. But Conway's done well in the Championship in the last couple of years. He's not a young kid, but he's the right age, I think, for us to be bringing in players. He's got a lot of potential. Went to Euros with Scotland. Now you can say that might not mean much, but he still went there. It's been experience for him. It's good. It's a positive signing for me, and I can't wait to see him get going. To be fair.
Yeah, he must have enjoyed his week in Germany. Bless him. People going all day longer, but it's a good signing. What about you, John Don? You happy with him putting pen to paper?
Yeah, we briefly touched on it last week, didn't we? There was a few clubs interested in him, Burnley being one, and for us to pick Burnley for the signature, it shows the ambition of the club and also the power that Carrick and Kieran Scott have in persuading players to come to us. Yes, I mean you can go through our sort of forward options, and it's very impressive. We just have to we just have to use them wisely. Hopefully there'll be no massive injury problems like we had last year, and try and get the best out of what is a really strong squad.
Yeah, it seems like, I mentioned this last week. What I look for in a strong squad is 2 in every position. It seems like we literally have that everywhere now, apart from maybe left back. But even then, I say, it's something else I said last week. We're giving George McCormack a bit of, not giving him the credit he's due, because he came on Wednesday night and did a job. He was fantastic. He just fitted in like it was normal, and we've got everything everywhere, and I think we just got the strength and depth is amazing this season. We're not lacking anywhere. It's looking good. It's looking good this season. We're all going to the stadium on Saturday. It was a very, very buoyant atmosphere. Everybody was very positive. Everybody was like, yeah, get a couple of goals today. We'll do all right. And then the 16th minute happened. Not the 28th minute, which I guess Jason last week said. But 16th minute, John Don, what on earth was Izzy Jones doing? He had passes either side, and then, well, we all saw what happened. That Caden Jackson got the ball and took it straight past Semi Dieng.
Well, it was a strange choice, a strange decision that he made to go back to the keeper, because he was about 10, 12 yards into their half, so he was fairly advanced. So a knock back to the keeper would have took quite a bit of power behind it, but there wasn't anything on it, and it was an absolute gift. As from the stands, as we watched it happening, we were just hoping, that the Derby player knocked it too far forward, give the keeper a chance. The keeper could push him wide and he would miss, but it was fairly straightforward. And what we were hoping for as an outcome, it failed to materialise, and he put it away fairly comfortably. But yeah, it was another bad decision from Isaiah, and ultimately it's what cost us, because from that moment Derby's game plan changed, and their manager had walked away from Ellen Road saying how good we were, having nightmares about our speedy counter-attacks, but you know what, we never got chance to counter-attack, because once they scored that goal, it was just a case of sit back, soak up the pressure, keep it tight, and see if they can get through us. And unfortunately, we couldn't manage that.
Yeah, I mean, I sent a picture to you, boy, before we came on tonight. I was just doing my last minute homework on what I did see on Saturday, just making sure what I saw was right. I'd had a fair few drinks, so I just wanted to make sure what I saw was right. But Cuts, I mean, obviously you watched it from the comfort of home. I imagine Tracy wasn't running back from bingo after you shouted at Isaiah Jones. But I've seen it now, obviously on the highlights, but it really doesn't make him look good, does it, the pass? It was just one of those, remember when you were a kid and you do a shin roller and you proper scuff it? That's exactly how it looked. It just looked like he proper curved his foot around the ball. He just got it completely wrong.
He did get it completely wrong, but look, lads, let's not vilify him too much. You're going to get plenty of players making mistakes. We had enough chances in that game to nullify that mistake, and we didn't do it. So let's not get on Jones's back too much. No one will know more than himself how bad a mistake it was. No one will feel worse than what he does. Do you know what I mean? It's early in the season. I'd have been disappointed with a draw. Never mind getting beat. We had enough chances to win the game, and if we play a team that look worse than Derby in the whole season, I'll be very surprised, because they were abysmal, in my opinion. It's not sour grapes. I just thought they were terrible. 100%, that's 3 points lost. It's early in the season. It's 3 points lost.
No, you're absolutely right. So you say we can't jump on it. But what Jones did, no, I'm joking. I'm not really going to do it. No, it's yeah. It's early in the season. I fully get that. And you're absolutely right. I feel like Saturday was our Rotherham. I looked at the stats on the way home in between the Jaegers, and they had 3 shots all game. And I'm not being ignorant or disrespectful. I can't name the other 2 shots. I can't. I maybe think of one that Caden Jackson scuffed at the beginning of the game, which Dieng somehow dropped. But apart from that, I can't think of a chance they really had. I mean, you look at the chances we had. Hackney shot. I thought he'd score from 30 yards. I was right behind it when he hit it. Berg's hitting the post from the deflection. It was just one of those days, like you said, John. They got the goal and went, right, that's just played perfectly into what we had, and they just sat and they just sat and they just sat and they just said, "Come and break us down," and we just couldn't do it.
Well, their manager admitted that, didn't he? He said that he changed all his sort of like his normal philosophy in the game. But to be fair, I mean, Isaiah Jones name was sung, and the crowd tried to lift his spirits. And I've seen a few people on social media who've had a right go at him. But do you know what? He won us the first 3 points on the opening match, and he'll know more than anybody else how poor that mistake was. So yeah, we have to talk about it. But I'm not sort of in any way calling for his head for the next game. You know, hopefully we can get behind him. He can sort of like recover, get a little bit a bit of strength out of our support, and he can come on and put a man of the match performances on Saturday. I really hope he does that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've both hit the nail on the head. It's very, very early days. I mean, people are saying to me, "Oh, what, you know, these have done that and they've done that and this today, and you know, Burnley won 2 out of 2." And I don't look at the table till October. I stick with that every year. I don't know where other teams are in the league. I don't know where we are. I'm not bothered where we are. The only thing I can know for definite is we're 3 points off, obviously, what top are, which will be 6 points. I'm not bothered. You know, the first 10 games is all about setting yourself into the season, get yourself settled in, get yourself in place to have a goal for the second half of the season. It's not about, you know, we won't be looking back in May and saying them 3 points at Derby could have done the job, really, because there'll be plenty of other opportunities where it's going to go a bit wrong. You know, no team's perfect in this league, especially this league, where it could go really wrong. So yeah, we move on. It was difficult to take on Saturday. It was a bit of a ball ache to have to endure, but I've got to say though, the away fans are absolutely magnificent. We were so loud, packed out that away end. There was a bit of a weird thing. There was like 3 rows in front of me that were completely empty, and I don't know why. I don't know. Like, I have no idea why. It was just really weird. They say the safe standing worked. There was good noise behind me from the red faction. Yeah, the whole stadium was good. I thought their fans were quite loud as well towards our left hand side. I thought that stand was quite loud as well. Annoying, but loud. I knew exactly where the drummer was. So yeah, it's just it was the one positive I suppose was Tommy Conway coming on, because straight away he linked up with the place instantaneous, didn't he? You know, he was so good at linking up with other players. I mean, I can't even imagine he'd probably had more than one training session with him, and he just fitted straight in, didn't he?
Well, you look at the new players. You know, I mean, Aidan Morris it seems as though he's been here a couple of seasons, because he hasn't taken any time at all to adjust. He's got straight into it, and he's putting in regularly solid performances. Bergzorg, he will improve. You know, Mike Hamilton, come on, he'll improve. I mean, Man City don't play him in the Champions League if he's a bit of a dud. He'll just take time to get used to his teammates and settle down. Again, same with Conway. You know, so you look at our squad, and as disappointing as Saturday was, it just excites me for the rest of the season.
It does. It's I was really impressed with Hamilton when he came on as well, because he just took over from where Jones left off. He was just going out there left back. He was inside and out. He was trying out. It's just the play was really good. The only obviously negative was we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. I know we had the ball in the back of the net when he was offside. People said to me he wasn't offside. He was. I saw the replay. I've just seen the replay half an hour ago. He was just offside.
Great ball by Hackney, that, by the way.
Oh, unbelievable ball. Unbelievable. It just shows we've got the players in behind as well to be able to unlock it if we really need to. So it was just that was a typical Boro on Saturday. You know, it's the first time we'll say it for this season, but that was typical Boro. You know, we built it up and built it up. You know, we started fantastic. We started so well. And that was just, you know what, we're back. Thump.
Yeah. Well, it was clean sheet against Swansea, clean sheet against Leeds. They were never going to score unless it was like that mistake that they benefited from. And it would have been more likely to be a clean sheet again. So, you know, we're getting things right. It's not gonna happen immediately. You know, the team will grow and improve as the season goes on. Like you said, 2 games in, 1 win, 1 loss. You know, we move on to Saturday and we hopefully get back to winning ways. Fingers crossed.
I know we use the phrase typical Boro. I think you can say typical Boro about the result. But I don't know about you lads. I don't think the performance was that bad.
No.
We didn't put the ball in the net, but we absolutely dominated the game. We moved the ball about quite well at times. And we lick a paint from Bergzog scoring and Hackney went close. We had a few decent chances. We just need to learn by that. We need to take the chances. It's a tough league. Every game's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a bit of that last Saturday, didn't we, against Swansea? You know, I know it finished 1-0, but we really, if we look deep down, we should have had 2, 3, maybe 4. You know, we had the chances to do exactly the same as Swansea, but we didn't. We obviously we created our penalty to get that 1-0 win. But yeah, that's why I say it was typical Boro. You know, for that result, simply is that the performance, I've got no problems with. I thought, you know, we were so dominant, 70% possession, 20 shots on goal. It's very rare for an away team to do that. And I say, just to get beat 1-0 was just so frustrating. So
I think we had 17 at Leeds. That's 37 shots in 2 away games. That's not bad going, that.
It just shows, doesn't it? You know, we're not going to sit back this year, which I'm a big fan of. Massive fan of that. You know, I don't go to football to watch us sit back and sit back and sit back. I go to football to have a bit of entertainment alongside my results. So if we're going to go and have a real good go at this, then I'm going to have no problems. You know, when we can't just quite get the job done some weeks. At least we had a go. You know,
well, we've got the players, haven't we, to have a go? We've got the players to sort of like be more forward thinking, be more proactive as a team. So yeah, like I say, Saturday disappointing, but we'll get over it.
Exactly, we will get over it. So, and on that note, John Don, who was your man of the match for Saturday? Because again, there was a few candidates for me.
Well, I'm going to agree with John Cutler. He gave it away earlier, but yeah, Matt Clark. I tell you what, he's everywhere. He just puts himself into every situation. Seems to come out with the ball. Yeah, great again.
Cut.
Yeah, it's Clark for me, but I'll give a mention to Hackney as well, who I thought was really good on Saturday.
Yeah, he was my man of the match, Hackney. I thought him and Morris, boss midfield, lovely. Again, it was just well executed. We were too good. If you bear down to it, we were too good for Derby. It was just unfortunately one moment cost us, and we just couldn't break them down after that, which is really unfortunate. But
Hackney certainly stepped up from the Swansea game, where he was part of a good midfield, but he didn't really sort of shine. But yeah, he was far better against Derby.
Yeah, I think he's thriving alongside Morris as well. I know obviously Housen will be coming into some games as well, but I think the little partnership they've got with each other, Hackney and Morris, that could be something to move along with for the rest of the season, as bad as it sounds. Because they complement each other so well. But it just shows how strong we are. So yeah, really good, really, really good. Right, we'll move on. Just before we move on to Portsmouth, so we are just waiting for our Pompey fan to come in and tell us all about them, give us a little bit of the insight on them.
Is it the guy with the chimes and the tattoos from years ago?
No. Isn't his middle name Portsmouth Football Club?
It is, yeah, I think he
is it John Westwood or something?
Yeah, the librarian.
No offence to the lad who we are getting on, but that's who we should have got on.
I know, poor lad. He's thinking, oh yeah, I'll have a good chat with these lads, and we're like, you're not Mr. Pompey, are you? Never mind. But before I move on to Portsmouth, I just want to mention today, the club put on a open training session for all the fans to to turn up to. Obviously, it's getting towards the end of the 6-week holiday, so it was a good chance for the younger fans to go and see the players, train and get up close and personal to them. I know this is not for you, Cuts, don't worry, sorry. But let's say, I had a message from Josh. He took his young lad Teddy to the open day. He said he's messaged me to say, club did really well. Fantastic turnout. There was a load of fans there. I said a lot of interaction between the players and the fans as well. It just gives you a bit of an insight and stuff like that, John Don, is why I love that we're such a community club, because it's, not many clubs do that over the summer, but we've opened our doors. We've let the fans in, to the ones, that really want to go and see, I suppose, the heroes up close and personal, and then they fully enjoyed the day.
Yeah, and there'll have been, thousands of kids who've gone down to the riverside for the first time, and I hope that the best of the parents and they like what they saw and they want to be back on an actual match day. But credit to the Middlesbrough Supporters Forum who encouraged, shall we say, the club to put this event on. It used to be done on fairly regularly, seasons gone, but for some reason they stopped doing the open day. So we've been asking them now for a couple of seasons to get one done. Especially during kids' school holidays, whether it be the summer holidays or half term, during the sort of calendar year, and they've come back and said, right, we'll do it. It's August the 19th, and by all accounts, it was a fantastic event. I spoke to my neighbour earlier on, and he took his two boys down. Said fantastic time, really, really good. Players were so giving up of their time, to chat and photographs and autographs. So yeah, I think the club done well out of it, for a PR opportunity. Well done to them.
Yeah, massively. And I know a few people were making a little snide comment saying, the club will try and cash in on that, but the tickets were free today. I know they opened up, the club shop, and a lot of fans took the opportunity, and the club are now putting an offer on for any fan that buys a home shirt this week. They've got half price printing of the players and badges on the shirts as well, which is a really good offer for the fans, especially towards the game on Saturday, because it'll get a lot of people in before the game. But it's just a really good family event. It's getting towards that stage of the school holidays where kids are starting to get a bit bored, and the mums and dads are thinking, I don't know what to do with him. It was just a perfect opportunity to start the week, get them down the riverside, let them have a look, see what they think. And I say, I've not heard a bad word being said about the experience at all. Everybody's fully enjoyed themselves. I think the players have enjoyed themselves as well. Getting up close and personal with the fans and showing their appreciation, for firstly 2 sold out away ends, and a really big crowd against Swansea, and hopefully another one to come on Saturday as well. So it's it's positive. The club's doing really well. The club's doing really good. So, on that note, we'll move on to Saturday, because we are joined now. This thing is just loading up. But I'm quite liking this new interaction we've got with away fans now to get find their perspective for us. And there you go, as if by magic, Hugh Bunce is with us now. Evening, Hugh.
Evening, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, we're doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks. Action-packed start to the season for us, and I'm sure that's going to carry on in the next game against you lot.
Exactly. I mean, you're actually absolutely right. It has been action-packed. 3 games in the week straight away. Firstly, before we talk about that, tell us about your summer. Coming back to the Championship, first time in many a year we've had you back. It's good to have Portsmouth back as well. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for Pompey. But it's good to have you back. How's your summer been? What's your recruitment been like? Ins and outs? Tell us about the squad.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a dramatic makeover. And to be honest, the squad is far from being complete at the moment. I think we're looking to probably bring in at least 5-6 more players. So this is very much a team in transition. We've got some injury issues at this moment in time as well. So we're a little bit threadbare. We've got, a couple of centre backs out injured, and we've got some issues up front, which I'll come on to a bit later on in the show as well. And I'll talk to you guys about it. But as far as players coming in, obviously, the elephant in the room, we've got Sammy Silvera, who's started both games for us now from you guys on loan. He's looked fairly decent. We'll get into that as well. We've got Andre Dozel in centre midfield. And I think when you look at the sort of recruitment we've got so far, it's looking all right, but there's still a lot of work to do. I do trust our recruitment team. Rich Hughes is very astute, our sporting director, alongside John Massinho. It's very much a sort of a pairing with the two of them. So we're going to look to strengthen the squad. There's no doubt about it. But at this moment in time, it's not a huge amount of players coming in. We've got a guy called Farrell who's come in from Australia. We seem to like Australians. That's going to make 3 in the squad now, alongside Kasinga Yangi, who plays up front for us and also plays up front for Australia. So as far as recruitment goes, there's still a lot of work to do, I think, to make this team, a comfortable or safe championship side.
Yeah. I mean, wait, you mentioned him now. He was one of our 3 koalas as well, Sammy Silvera. How's he settled in? How's his first? Because we're not going to see him on Saturday for obvious reasons, being on loan from ourselves. How's he settled into life on the South Coast? He's got potential. We felt up here he needed that season out on loan, possibly to this level as well, just to bed him in a little bit more, get his feet really stuck into this league, and we obviously felt your club was the perfect opportunity to do that. How has he been for his first couple of games so far?
I've quite enjoyed watching him. Some Pompey fans have been a little bit up and down on him. I think he's one of these players who's going to need a bit of consistent game time. I know with Carrick, you've sort of used him more as an impact substitute for you guys. So he came on a bit here and there. And so his minutes were quite scattered. But we're quite good at developing young players. I mean, we had Abu Kamara on loan from Norwich last season, and he's obviously gone to get a golden assist for them already. He's going to be an incredible player. I think he's probably going to be a good Premier League player. And we also took on players from, say, Man City, Alex Robertson as well, who's going to go on to do well. He's just joined Cardiff. So Sammy Silvera's got a manager who's very tactically astute, very good at sort of putting his arm around young players. I mean, he's only 38 himself. He does well with that sort of thing. And Silvera's done pretty well in the sense that he gets a lot of the ball. He gets in very dangerous situations for us. Against Luton, he did some really good things, sort of taking on defenders, knocking it past people. They ended up sort of doubling up on him. And he's got a few shots away as well. I think if he had the finishing touch and just his decision-making is one thing that if you could bring those few things together and maybe a bit of confidence, and if a few goals start going in for him, then I think you could see a lot of progression from him this season. But I think he's looked bright and he's definitely been an important player for us. It's just, can he get that consistency going now he's been given more minutes?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I think that's why we made the decision to send him out on loan, to get him that bit more game time. He predominantly found his way into the squad mostly because of our injury crisis last season, where he got a bit more of a chance. I mean, don't get me wrong, he did take it on a few occasions. His goal against Leicester was a cracker. But we did feel like, a season out on loan, probably doing some good. But obviously, you mentioned there about yourselves. There's a lot of transition with yourselves now. You're the host of your own podcast as well, the PO Forecast. I hope I've said that right. If I haven't, I'm sorry. But
spot on there, Stephen.
There we go. That'll do me. Obviously, you'll have discussed your expectations for the start of the season. What are you, as fans, expecting from this season? Are you expecting just to get yourselves back in the Championship to stay here? Are you expecting to go up the table a little bit more like Ipswich did? What are you looking to do this season?
Just need to consolidate ourselves this season. In an ideal world, it would be, don't be, fighting against relegation near the end of the season. If we can get ourselves into a situation and steal Stoke's position of whatever 17th, whether they finish every season off there, and that would do us grand. We're a very good drill team as a unit, tactically well. We play on the front foot, and I think some teams have been a little bit surprised about that this season, that we've come at teams straight from the get-go. We're quite a difficult team to beat. And I think when you see players coming in, so, you look at Silvera, for instance, he's going to have the likes of Matt Ritchie, who's also come in to give him a little bit of guidance on how to be a sort of top-class professional winger. Obviously, he's come from Newcastle. He's a Pompey lad, but he's also, played in the Premier League. And we've got that blend a little bit right with him and Pack, a couple of veterans. And then we've got a fairly young team apart from that. But I think the style we play is quite translatable to the Championship. we're not going to come up and be a Rotherham or one of those teams like that who just try and sit in and battle. We like to play progressive football, get up the thirds and put pressure on opposition teams.
Well, it's good that you said that, because Rotherham seem to come up and beat us every year. So, that's took a bit of pressure off us there. So I'll thank you for that. But, you're coming up to us. You started the season quite well. Obviously, a good result against Leeds on your first away trip as well. It's another tough trip up north as well for you this week. What are you expecting from Middlesbrough? What are the feelings down there about what you're going to come up against this weekend?
It's difficult for us because we have literally, I would say, the most difficult start to the season. If you put the fixture in isolation, you look at it, you go, a point would be a great result for us. Away at Middlesbrough, a team that I think will finish in the top 6 this season, minimum. And you look at the teams he played already, Leeds, Luton. We've also got Sunderland, West Brom, Burnley and Sheffield United after you. So the thing is, though, we do need a win at some point as well. So if you take it game by game, at some point, you need to pick up a win. But when we come up to play against you guys, I expect it to be a very difficult game. What I find is quite interesting is I've always thought, watching Middlesbrough, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, that you sort of look a bit better maybe in transition. So I'll be interested to see if you come out and just try and dominate the ball in our half and play like that, or whether you're going to sort of try and hit us on the breaks. I'm guessing that's something you guys can fill me in on, because we will come at you and press. I mean, I don't know if you're a bunch of stat boys, but against Leeds, our passes of defensive action was around 8, and it was under 6 against Luton. So we will give you space in that sense if you want to try and play through us and play that way.
Well, one thing Carrick has the team doing is patient build-up, really. But saying that, we are capable of counter-attacking. So if you push men forward and we seize the opportunity to counter-attack, we can do that quite well. We showed that at Leeds. We were absolutely marvellous at Leeds. Obviously, came away with an impressive 3-0 victory. So yeah, if you were going to press us and we can knock the ball around and we see the gaps, we can hopefully try and exploit them. Because one thing Carrick does, we're not long ball merchants. It's patience, and it's finding the opportunity. We didn't manage to find that opportunity against Derby, who really sort of closed everything down that we tried. But at home, I think the emphasis will be on us more to push forward and to break you down. So I'm looking forward to a good game. So let's hope that Carrick can get it right this time. And I want to obviously to see us come away with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that you're a pressing team as well, because as I say, we've just come off the back of a defeated Derby where they literally sat on the 18-yard line and said, "Come and have a goal," which I imagine you probably saw last season a little bit with the Paul Warne team. It's the kind of thing he likes to do. He likes to get in front and then just basically say, "Come and break us down," which is so frustrating to watch. But individually, what players are you most fearful of when you look at Middlesbrough? Is there any players that stick out and you think he could give us a bit of a test on Saturday?
To be honest, I've not run through your squad this season massively. I've looked at your style play, so I'm not going to pretend like I've gone through your team player by player. Let's just bring it up now, because I can actually have a look at it and go through it. Because it's one of those situations, I think, with us that we're fairly quite new to the league, I suppose, in that sense. I'm just getting to track with it. But as far as we're concerned, generally speaking, let's have a look. I mean, I don't think Matt Clark plays for you. Does he start for you, Matt Clark?
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, obviously,
yeah.
ex-Pompey centre-back, know very well what he's like. He was just too... I mean, I'm surprised he wasn't actually playing in the actual Championship, in the Premier League at this point. Obviously, he went to Brighton, did well there. But yeah, to be honest, I've not got into it in huge detail against you. I actually ran to get here in time, so sorry, boys.
It's all right.
It's all right.
What about from your team then? Is there a particular player that we might not have heard of that is really highly rated by you and your fans that we maybe haven't heard of? Someone for us to watch for?
I've got a couple of players to look out for or not look out for at the second in time for you guys to do, because Marlon Pack might be injured and not be able to play for us. And if that is the case, that's going to affect how we play. He went off with an injury. He barely walked off the pitch at the weekend. It was a real problem. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Callum Lang. He came from Wigan, came to us. He's a really tricky player. He sort of plays in the half space in behind the striker, so he can play as a 10 or a wide, but he really plays in that sort of channel in behind the striker there. He got the goal against Leeds that he scored from outside the box. He also took the penalty as well there. And he looks genuinely lively whenever he picks the ball up. So he gets fouled quite a lot. And that's just because he's good on the ball. He's quite tenacious. At the back, Connor Shaughnessy, really solid defender. Decent with his first pass, good in the air, and also really dangerous from a set piece. Nearly scored against Luton. I did notice, looking at your stats, don't seem to be amazing set piece team, but with us, generally speaking, Shaughnessy is quite good there as well. Unfortunately, we haven't got Colby Bishop, our top striker. He's out, our 20 goal scorer. He's had heart surgery after an issue they found with his heart in pre-season. Obviously, wishing the best to get well. And Yengi's probably a doubt as well, who's our sort of second striker there, the Australian international. He's pulled his groin. So it's quite difficult because a lot of our star players in that sense look like they could be out. We started Christian Sadie up front for us. He's really a 10 or a backup striker. And a player called Sorensen, if he starts up top for us, we got him from the Danish third tier. So he was really supposed to be in the mix a little bit, really, rather than a player who was going to lead the line for us. But he did get that goal against Leeds. So some of our star power is definitely out. And we're missing Regan Paul at the back. And he's our starting centre back as well. So I think with us, this is a team that is very much playing a system which is probably better than the sum of its parts, if that makes sense.
There you go. So with that being said, then what we like to do here, we do a charity bet every week. We pick out a score, an anytime goal scorer. So if we could possibly push you to give us an anytime score and a score prediction, we'll happily put that on.
Okay, doke. I thought we were going to get battered by Leeds and said that, and then like a right muppet when we went and drew 3-3. And then I went for a 2-1 win and we drew 0-0. So this is probably going to be a loser. So if you need me to PayPal you some money to cover it, you're more than welcome to.
We're not extravagant with our bets, don't worry.
I'm going to have a look at this and think, all right, I'll be honest. I think we're better than Derby, even with the lineup we've got now. I know them fairly well, but we play a different way. I think it'll be a lot more of an open game. And I'm going to go with an optimistic 1-1 draw. Again, I do want to get a win, but I think we've got a goal in us from the 3 in behind, the Lane, the Lang. And I think without Silveri, you'll see Matt Ritchie come in and play, who's not been that fit. I think one of those 3 will probably get a goal. I'm going to go with, I've got to pick a goal scorer, haven't I? I'm going to go with Callum Lang again.
All right,
there you go. Thank you very much. We'll stick that on and we'll blame you when it doesn't win.
Hugh, sorry. Hugh, can I just ask, did you go to Leeds for the game?
I didn't. It was actually my stepdaughter's birthday. So
right.
I didn't.
I was just wondering how Portsmouth fans felt, scoring so late themselves, and then Leeds, just a few minutes later, levelling the score at 3-3. That must have been a killer.
It was a killer. It's one of those really emotional things where, I mean, lots of the guys on my podcast were at the game, the other 2 lads, and it was one of those situations where we never expected to be leading. And when we had the penalty, last few minutes, but the situation was they equalised, but then they could have easily won the game, couldn't they? Right at the death. And he just he just put it so far wide. It was such an easy chance. So I think Pompey fans are really happy with the draw and we'll take the point. And those Leeds misery tears, which they seem to be, I think a lot of them left after the penalty. So that's a lesson learned in football, isn't it? Never leave before the final whistle.
It's always fun to see Leeds misery tears. Don't worry about that.
There you go. I'm getting on board with the train with the rest of the league then.
But we appreciate your time, Hugh. Thank you so much for coming on. Give your podcast a quick plug.
Yeah, so our podcast is called the PO Forecast, PO4 being the postcode. around Fratton, and the site we work for is Pompey News now. We've been doing it, I think it's our 7th season now, so we're doing this for quite a while together with the boys. So yeah, give us a check out, and we'll go from there. So if you want to hear us, if you beat us and raging about it, you can check that out and enjoy a bit of a laugh.
There you go. Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
thank
You
you.
enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you very
time, mate.
much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Cheers. Ta-da.
There you go. That was Hugh Bunce from the PO Forecast, who did a dally and went 1-1. But quickly before we give our predictions, John, what are you expecting from Saturday? Surely it's a good opportunity to bounce back, especially when you hear they've got such injury problems as well.
Yeah. I mean, he painted a really bleak picture, didn't he? And then he goes on and forecasts a draw. Yeah, so listen to what he says there, and they're sort of like, shall we say, lack of first choice strike force. I'm looking forward as to exploit that, and to bounce back from the disappointing Derby result with a fairly comfortable, maybe it's not in scoreline, but a fairly comfortable win. I don't want it to be like Swansea, where last 10 minutes we were sort of like getting pushed back a little bit and becoming a bit nervous. I want us to sort of be a bit more dominant.
Yeah, and then that Jones again, who missed that chance for 2-0. No, I'm only joking. But Coach, what you're expecting from Saturday is, I did feel what he was going to say when he said, I think we're better than Derby. I thought, oh God, I don't know what he's going to predict here.
I'm expecting 3 points, to be honest. I think we've started the season pretty well. The result on Saturday wasn't what we all wanted and hoped for, but I think the performance was good enough. I'm expecting 3 points.
There you go. And I'll hand over to you now.
I'm going to go for Hayden Hackney, anytime goal scorer, 4-0.
Good stuff. Can hit a band over going 4-0.
What about you, JD?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Latte Laugh to start his hopefully 8 consecutive games scoring in the Championship, because he obviously missed out on Saturday. So Latte Laugh as anytime goal scorer and a 2-0 victory for Boro.
Jack Lowe?
I'm going to go Conway anytime. I think Conway scores this week. I'm going to go 3-1 Boro. I think they will score, but I think we'll just have way too much for him. It's even more encouraging when he says they've got injuries as well. So
yeah, but Matt Ritchie's still a good player, but obviously Hugh mentioned about fitness issues, so hopefully that will hamper his performance somewhat, because he is a very good player. This level,
he is, and I'm just hoping it's not a Geordie that's going to come back and haunt us again. He always played well against us for Bournemouth as well, Matt Ritchie. He was always a bit of a pain in the backside. So,
the amount of injuries they've got and still putting out a first 11, the squad must be as big as Chelsea's.
I don't know whether did you see that on Twitter? I'll have to send it if you haven't. Some pub, the chalkboard outside to advertise the Sky game yesterday was 115 players versus 115 charges. That was their advertising board. I think that was quite clever.
Wow, that's quite good.
Just before anyone messages in, Steve, you said about us being 3 points behind Burnley. They kicked off at 9 a.m. this morning to get extra fans in, so they're now 6 points ahead of us.
Oh, well, that'll done then. I thought you were going to say Leeds then. But never mind. No, it's fine. That picture you saw, JJ, you didn't take it, did you?
I didn't. No, it was on Twitter. No, I didn't.
That's all right. I didn't want to have to explain to you, why the picture was cloudy again, if there's no sun out or anything. Honestly, one of the funniest things I've ever seen on an away day, that one. But yes, we'll leave it there. Yes, your picture skills were funny as. Right. If you come to the Riverside Saturday and you want a flag, tell them how to get in touch, JD.
We'll be dishing out flags again to bring a bit of colour into the North Stand, blocks 21, 23 or 25. again, you can contact us and ask for a flag to be left on your seat, or just come and see us towards the back, and we'll be wandering around and giving out flags. And like I say, give the team your support, whether it be waving a flag and shouting or just shouting. Just get behind the team, because it's important that we bounce back against Portsmouth from a disappointing result against Derby. So get yourselves there, get in the North Stand, Block 23, come and join us, and we'll get behind the boys.
Yeah. When you say shouting, I mean like relevant shouting. Don't just shout random stuff. I mean, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, not like you've got Tourette's or something. Just like in a formal structure.
Yes, formal structure. Wow. And on that note, I'll duly end this well-structured meeting of ours, and bid you farewell. Thank you very much for popping on, John Don, as usual. Cut, well done. I'll be back in there with you next week. Don't worry.
Look forward to it.
And thank you for you lovely people for listening, commenting, liking, subscribing, getting in touch, getting involved, sticking with us. We're only going to get bigger this season, so thank you so much. And we'll adjourn and we'll meet again next week. So I'll leave you there. Up the Boro. See you later.
Up the Boro.
Come on, Boro.
Thank you for listening to the 12th Man podcast. Hope to see you all again next week. Up the Boro.